I'm Matt, and I'm in another crawl space. And here's a vent. I'm going to show you this. This is one of those nice vents, foundation vents. But you don't see much, if any, light coming through it because it's so blocked up. With there's a little light in the lower left-hand corner coming through. See it? So the vent's blocked up. That's what they do. They turn a block sideways, and they put a vent over it to let some air into the crawl space. Now today they're preaching to encapsulate the crawl space. So you'd have no vents, but you'd have visqueen, which is heavy plastic on the ground, to prevent moisture from evaporating into the crawl space. I think you should have vents, even if your crawl space is encapsulated. There's the bottom. There's a shower up above here, a handicap shower. So this all looks good. There's no rot. We thought it might be leaking because the tile was cracked, but there must be a rubber membrane under it because none of the plywood's rotted. But you can see the water does puddle here. I don't know. It must be from rainwater. See, there's a vent over there. There's a little more light coming through that one over there. We'll go take a look at that one. But yeah, they're preaching that you encapsulate the crawl space now and not have any vents. I disagree with that. And there's, you know, people that allegedly know a lot more about it than I do that say that you should encapsulate it. But I disagree with them. Some of them are engineers even. Because eventually something will happen. So for instance, one of these pipes could freeze and break, or even just, you know, become disconnected, and it floods the crawl space down here. You know, if you got plastic on the ground, the plastic then does the exact opposite of what it's supposed to do. The plastic is supposed to keep the moisture in the ground and keep the crawl space dry. But when the leak comes from up here, then it becomes like a swimming pool. The visqueen, the vapor barrier, becomes like a swimming pool liner, and it fills up with water in here. So wouldn't it be nice if you had some vents that you could open until you get it all pumped out, and then let the last of it off the top evaporate? So I think you should always have vents regardless of what the so-called experts say. I'm gonna roll over there. That's easier. This is kind of a low crawl space. And I did find, you can tell that there's a lot of moisture in here. It's not dry, it's wet. You can see the mud on my knees. So, and we did see moisture damage in the attic too, so, and a lack of venting in the attic. So when you have moisture in the crawl space, a lot of times it ends up in the attic. See, this vent's pretty much plugged up too, probably about 70%, I'm guessing. Again, they turn a CMU, concrete masonry unit, or cinder block they call it. Turn it in there sideways, and they put a vent on it on the outside, a little screened vent. Keep animals and insect out, and then the vent gets plugged up, and the people don't know enough to open and close the vents. You're supposed to open them in the summer and close them in the winter to keep the pipes from freezing. So that's it. Another indication of how damp a crawl space will be is how high it is. This one's less than 2 feet high. My work boots are about 1 foot, so this one's less than 2 feet high. So a good crawl space would be over 2 feet high. 2 feet and over, and you usually don't see issues in there. If they're 3 feet high, that's great. A lot of the newer homes have a 3-foot crawl space. So that's really good. This one's not so good. It's not terrible. We've seen much worse. The wood looks pretty good. So, kind of pretty typical. That's it.